This guide will help you get Kappa for the first time or make you more efficient at it. I've personally gotten 4 Kappas and 2 wipes using this method. That's right, Prestige 4. And if you'll notice when I'm searching right here, I don't have any symbols on the first one. I have a little recycle symbol on the second one, and I have a star on the third, and I loot it. That's because the starred item is for my Kappa or my hideout. The other item, which was a recycle one, means that it was less than 25k rubles on the flea market, so it also helps you when looting. We're going to help you set your account up with that. First, I want you to create an account and log into a website called Tarkov Tracker. Head over to the settings, set your game edition, and then go to your filters here to show non-Kappa tasks as hidden. Then I want you to go over and check your character level on Escape from Tarkov. Mine's 22, and you're going to set it over here on the left-hand side. Then we're going to head over to the hideout tab, and we're going to start filling out all the different modules that we currently have in our hideout. I am a PvE standard edition, and I'm not planning on prestiging, so I'm going to be hiding pretty much every module that's on here by showing them completed already. The only ones that I want is the gym, because I'm making this account for people that need a gym on PvE, and I want to be able to go to labs with my nephew because I'm teaching him how to play the game through PvE. So I'm going to be going for Intel Center 2, but I'm going to show literally everything else as completed other than those that take to go there. So you can see here I have gear rack and it's level 1. I'm going to show gear rack already done because that has nothing to do with me, and I don't care about the gear rack. I don't plan on setting it up. So go through, set up your hideout however you want it. If you're in PvP, you're going for prestige. You don't need like Intel Center 3. You don't need Bitcoin farms. You don't need Water Collector 3. You don't need those kind of things. You just need, Med Station 3, Rest Space 3, and Intel Center 2. So that's the only items that you're going to need. So just go ahead and show all those things kind of done and complete. Obviously, you should pause the video. Once you're done setting up your hideout portion of this, we're going to head over to the tasks. We're going to sort by traders. And then we're going to go look at Prapper, and we're going to go to each of the traders and fill out what quests we have done. One of the little things that you can do is click this little box right here to show completed, and you can fill out each of the different quests that you have gotten done so far. One of the things you're going to run into is you're going to have a quest that's partially done, or you have items turned in for it already. Be sure to go in here and click those down so that you show them as already completed. If you have items that are turned in, then you're going to have to do it in the needed item section, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Do that for every single trader at least once, and then go back to Prapper and recheck everybody, because some quests will pop up like Pole Climb Hobo here that I have gotten completed, but it didn't show until another quest got shown completed. So be sure to go through the list at least 2 times and double check. Now you've unlocked your first feature of TarkovTracker.io. You can go to the maps section here, and you can easily tell where the things are that you need on the map. But the biggest thing that I use is to tell how many quests I have per map, so that I can quickly identify which map I should be on right now. So right now I should be on Shoreline, and then it will list off every key and every marker and item that I need to bring into my quest down here at the bottom. So I know that I need to bring 6 markers into my next raid onto Shoreline. Now I want you to sort your stash really, really well. I want you to put as many items onto your character that isn't like a item that could go into a junk box for the most part. Put guns, gear, whatever you have to do. Really Tetris it up and try to get as much space inside your stash as you possibly can get. You can use the sorting table up here and then shift and left click to move things into that box to help with your storage and to help with like sorting things a little bit as you see fit. Now I'm on a standard edition, so my stash is probably smaller than yours, but notice how I have things set up. I've moved as much as I can down to the bottom and used the little pin system so that it doesn't move when I auto sort, and I have all this junk and junk items up here at the top. Now what I want you to do is try to fill up your sorting table with as much of your junk boxes as you possibly can. Try to put everything that you have in your junk boxes into your inventory to make it a little bit easier to sort. If you're not able to, because your stash is too small like mine, and when you hit the escape key on this, it says you got to manually transfer, then all you need to do is go and designate a second junk box to 2x2 and 3x2 or, larger items, and just put all the larger items into this other junk box that you will sort later. Now that your stash is kind of looking like this, where you have most of your junk items inside and you have your bigger items in another junk box, have 2 free open junk boxes. And what we're going to do is we're going to tag them. This one is going to be dedicated to my quest items, and the other one is going to be dedicated to my hideout items. And I'm just going to name them appropriately. And then if you have a box like me, you'll probably want to name this one sort, so that you know that these items are also needing to be sorted. Now to set up the wish list system. First, we want to go to settings, and we want to go down here and clear our wish list in case there's anything already set up. And then we're going to head over to tarkovtracker.io. We're going to start typing in each one of these items that are here in the needed items section. Quick edit because I'm lazy. Head over to the needed items, go over to this little settings cog, and hit the button right here that shows hide needed items that don't need to be found in raid. That's very important for this next part, and I forgot to put in a good portion on it. Before we start logging our items on Tarkov Tracker's needed items and keeping track of that, we're going to show the things we don't want to unlock in the hideout. So for example, I'm not going for prestige on PvE. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, but like, I don't need Bitcoin Farm 3. I'm not going for that. I do want Stash 4 because I'm a standard edition. Bitcoin Farm 2, I don't need, so on and so forth. Here are the things you might need if you're going for prestige on PvP, but everybody's going to have a different needs and removals here. So it's up to you to kind of do your own research and find out what you need. Because like, for example, Prestige 3 requires, you know, Med Station 3, it requires Rest Station 3, it requires Intel Center 2, but you don't need like Bitcoin Farm, you don't need Scav Case, you don't need Intelligence Center 3, but you need everything in order to make those. You know, you don't need gear racks, you don't need weapon racks. So if there's something that you're wanting or needing, you'll have to remove it at your own discretion or use the little thing that I put up on the screen here. But if you're just wanting max hideout, then keep everything, you know, show everything is needed. So the first item I want to log is that I have rechargeable batteries. I'm going to go over here and type in rechargeable batteries in the needed items section, and I see mechanic's face there. That means it's needed for a quest. Quest items are going to have this little symbol next to it, and it'll tell you what quest it is. I'm going to put 3 rechargeable batteries in my quest box, and then I'm going to lock them with the lock key. You can press L, or you can click the little locker thing down the bottom. I'm not pinning them, I'm locking them. Pinning them, they will still get used in the presets, and they will still get used in crafting. Locking, they're like they're not in your stash at all until you turn in the quest. Now I'm going to look up the items for power banks. Have absolutely nothing, so I know that I don't need them. So I'm just going to leave them alone. I'm going to go on to H2O2, and I'm going to continue to do this for every single item inside my stash. Now, when I get to ophthalmoscope, you'll notice that there are ones for quests and ones for the hideout there. The hideout ones, I'm just going to pin. I'm not going to lock them because I don't really care about the hideout ones as much, as they oftentimes don't need to be found in raid. But you want to lock your found in raid quest items more than anything else. I'm now going to log every single item that I have in my stash on tarkovtracker.io really quickly. Also, now is a good time to log those items that we were talking about earlier. You know, like I have some car batteries, I have some spark plugs that are already showing. Show those as already in there. So be sure to go through your quests as well and showing those either after you're done or while you're going through it. It helps to have multiple monitors. I just put my Tarkov Tracker IO on the other screen, and I just tab out in order to check each item. And I set a quest junk box, and I just control left click everything into the boxes really quickly every time I check them. So here's just a little quick time lapse of me doing that really, really fast and going through my stash and getting most of this done real fast. Once you're done logging everything into Tarkov Tracker, remember, don't put anything into these task boxes that you haven't marked off on Tarkov Tracker. Go through and lock all of your quest items so that they don't get used in anything else. And then we can get started on the next. You can now sell all the items that aren't part of Tarkov Tracker, aren't part of getting Kappa. Be sure to log all the items that you had stored on your character and in your like med boxes and stuff. But what I like to do is I like to sell on the Flea in a little bit different of a way. I like to filter by item, and then I go, all right, so it's 71K. I'm going to knock off 6K so that it sells quickly. Because for me, time is money. I don't care about losing 7K per item or whatever. I want to try to sell as many items as fast as I can so that I can get back into the raid, so that I can get more items to sell more items. Because I make more money surviving in this game than I do trying to get the best amount of money as I can off the flea. But some items I highly recommend checking what the value is when you sell it to like therapists, because some items are going to be not really worth listing on the flea. If I can't make more than like 15K off the flea, it's not really worth doing. But some items like this rat poison here, you'll notice people are selling it for cheaper than what it sells to therapists. So every time I do this, I'm making like 5K, 4K, 3K, buy them all up and run it, man. And just sell it to therapists. You get a ton of money doing that. So like I said, start going through your stash of the items that weren't part of the junk box, like these Johnny B's, and be sure to like show like your Johnny B's and the items that doesn't go into the junk cases. Be sure to put those in there. Things that might be inside your like medicine cases, like morphines. Those are some of the items that you're going to want to go looking for and making sure that they're logged as well and that you have them as locked away as well. Disclaimer, this part is very tedious. It can take you between an hour and 3 hours. It's very daunting. You'll start questioning your own sanity. Just put a movie on, just put some music on, just burn through it as fast as you can, because you only got to do it once, or at least every time you prestige or wipe or whatever ends up happening in the future. But doing this is what will get you your Kappa so much easier. It makes it almost brainless. I've done it 6 times now for my Kappas. I got 2 Kappas, a wipe for 2 wipes in a row for Prestige 4. I swear by this, I refuse to go for Kappa without doing this. So just do it. Now we're going to set up your wish list system. So we're going to go over here to Tarkov Tracker and we're going to look at the first item on the needed items list. We're going to come down here to Handbook and we're going to type it in. So I got Salty Dog Sausage. You're going to see it pop up over here and you're going to hit the little wish list. You're going to hit the star button. Star means that you need it for Kappa. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to each one of these items in this list all the way down through it. There's so many items. It's like 200 different items, but if this is the most important thing you can do. So we're going to type in the numbers for this magazine. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit star and we're going to keep on going down through all the way to the end. Now, sometimes you're going to run into an item like defib here and it's not going to pop anything up. So what you're going to want to do is go to the flea market and see if it's there. And if it's in the flea market and you have the level to be able to look at it, you'll be able to middle mouse button on it and you'll be able to inspect it. And then you can put a star and add it. Now, why wouldn't you go here to do that for everything? It's because not everything's on the flea market either, but most things are in the handbook. So for the limited few things that you're going to have to go to the flea market, just go to the flea market and check to see if it's there. But genuinely, some items you won't find at all, and you'll just have to find them later in the wipe, like Conftoms and Vertexes. Another thing is some of these items have weird names, and no matter what you do, typing them in just will not work. But they are available here. You just might have to go into the section on the left here, go to weapons, and like go to melee weapons, and then you'll find them. I don't know why this is, but some items like the bars here are like that. There's very few. That's a rare exception. Also, just for fun, comment what you think this is a reference to. This is an Easter egg to a very particular childhood memory of mine, and I'm going to reveal the answer to it in 3, 2, 1. It's from Ed, Ed, Eddy. The description here says, a Heldrick symbol of urban vagabonds. It's Double D's hat. All right, I have officially filled out all of my Tarkov tracker all the way down to the bottom of everything. And I have sorted my stash nice and perfectly. We have one final beautiful tip for you, and that's to go to the flea market and go over here to bartered items. You'll want to sort by price. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go down through the list of items here and you're going to right click on each of the items that are basically under 20K or whatever you want to set the number to. If you only want to pick up items that are worth 50K or something like that. Like I'm on PvE, so I set mine to like 35K per slot. And you want to be mindful of per slot because some of these items are going to be 1x2s, 2x2s, and you want to divide them by their slots. So if it's a 2x2 item, you want to divide their price by 4. And if you're not making more than like, you know, 25, 30K per slot, what's the point in even picking them up? Obviously, you don't want to change the ones that have stars because those are needed for your Kappa and your prestige. Just change the ones that don't have stars. And I like to use this little symbol that's for barter because it looks like a recycle symbol and it reminds me. It's also really good for keys so that you can keep track of the crappy keys and you don't have to have the crappy keys that you're looting whenever you get them unlocked like that. Same thing for info items. You could do it for every category inside the flea market, but it allows you to basically filter out any of the cheap items that you don't want to loot, so you loot only profitable items or quest and hideout items. And now when you're looting, you will have little stars on your items to know what to keep, and you'll know that they're for Kappa or for prestiging or for your hideout or whatever you're doing. And it makes your loot runs just a little bit easier so that you can identify quickly what you want. So go run a scav run, go run a PMC, and get you a big full backpack. And we'll talk about the next steps. Maintaining your wishlist system so that you don't lose track of where you're at. These are the rules, now that you have it set up, that you will have to follow by for the rest of the wipe to get your Kappa easily. As you can see here, I have finished a scav run and have all my little starred items for myself. I'm going to put them right into my stash, not into my junk boxes, because I need to sort these and log them into tarkovtracker.io because everything is manual. Nothing is automatic here because any of the automatic stuff can get you banned. Anything that hooks to the game is considered a third-party resource and not good. First, we're going to hit the auto sort button so that everything gets aligned nicely. We're going to then look at the items, and just like before, we're going to type them in. We're going to check them out. Now notice I have 2 chainlets, so both of them have been finished. I no longer need chainlets. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to remove it from wishlist. I'm then going to move them to the appropriate box. This gets them out of my wishlist, so I'm not looting them ever again. But I'm going to go through every single item. I'm going to log them on tarkov.io. And if I finish finding those items, I will just remove them from the wish list so I don't pick them up anymore. Now, I want to be very clear with this part here. You don't have to do this after every raid, but you kind of want to. Like, you can put everything into your stash and then sort it later and do Tarkov.io later, or you can go and put them in a sorting junk box and do that later as well. But every time you fill out Tarkov Tracker, you get another item or 2 off your wish list, like those chainlets I just did. So you could end up looting more chainlets through those matches and have too many chainlets, so to speak. So it's good to do it after every raid, but you don't necessarily have to. And if you do like fill out for like one hideout module and then later show that hideout module as not finished, but you use that item for another one, so to speak, it's okay, because once you do one run and you find out you no longer need that item, you may have looted like a couple of extra ones of them, but you'll remove them from your wish list. So it's self-fixing as long as you are sorting after every raid or every few raids. But you don't want to get off the track, right? You don't want to get too far behind, because you may have to redo the whole video if you let it go for too long. So I recommend doing your Tarkov tracker after every raid, if not every few, maybe 3 raids. And the final thing I'm going to leave you with here is my favorite loot run for getting your hideout upgraded. This is the way that I get the gem faster than anybody else in the game, and why so many people have me added on PvP to use my gem. Ground Zero has an insane amount of toolboxes in the basement and up top. I have a loot run that I do, and I'm going to have probably another video that comes out with this one that goes through hitting every one of these. I like to hit the duffel bags, the loot boxes, the technical supply crates in the basement, as well as like the dead PMC, dead scabs. It's also got an amazing PC block stuff for your wires and all the other items that you could get out of computers. There's also a bunch of drawers. Ground Zero is extremely underrated and not talked about enough. This map is amazing for getting almost half, if not 75% of all Kappa items, early quest items, all of your hideout just about. You can almost max your hideout just by looting Ground Zero over and over. So don't turn your nose to Ground Zero. It is an insanely good map to get a lot of your stuff and get your hideout upgraded. And if this video helped you in any sort of way, consider hitting me up on any of my other places, man, or coming over to our Discord. We've got a whole like section dedicated to new players, as well as the settings that I use in the game, where you can find a text version of what we just talked about right here if you want to read it instead, as well as a bunch of links to some of the other videos that I have for helping people out, and like different little map things that I have, like my interchange basement loot run, which is an insanely good loot run for new players with a 85% survival rate, and just a whole bunch of different tips and stuff over there, as well as, you know, if you want to support me, come over to Kick, you know, 95-5 split. Half your money goes to Jeff Bezos and Amazon over on these other apps and stuff, man. Big love. Take care. Bye.